This first piece is entitled The Coming Star. Landing on this planet has for me opened my bright vision to a strong growth tree. As I download inside with but nothing to hide, I see multitudes of dark clouds that so viciously glide. There are violent dismemberings here, so tentatively in place, both under and far above this, our gracious space. Many causes have been swept aside under the carpet of corporate criminal pride. Their fondling of bodies so graciously pure, on they will lead to murderously continue to lure. Environmental disaster will plague us all around as the super rich survive under their wealthy bunkered ground. Having planned for years to cut off our innocent ears, where will we go to survive this death? We cannot unknowingly give up to a final breath. Righteous beliefs are here to employ, and on our society must go to finally enjoy. How do we define and get back on track? Or do we irresponsibly say, to hell with it, and physically attack them back? This answer they have used many times before, but one we will never adhere to on this your and my shore. Beauty is here for us all to see and feel. We must stand tall together for it to become real. Demonstrations can state the future direction we need, but it's up to you and me to voice that necessary lead. Learn from around world others we have to do, and this will knowingly let us come to be true. Whether next door to us or infinitely afar, we will see our future brightness of the coming star. Let us survive here for the time it will take, and we will continue to swim in this life's wondrous lake. Thank you. Now this next piece, I was in Provincetown back in the 60s and 70s studying painting, and about a week or two ago our family went up to Cape Cod, and I talked everybody into going up for an afternoon and early evening just to visit Provincetown. And this piece I wrote in kind of remembering times past when I was actually up there. And it was the first time I'd ever been into the Northeast. I came up from Memphis and the Art Academy there. And it's entitled Provincetown Revisited. Those late 1960 years in Provincetown, I was a free spirit that occasionally went down. A journey so foreign to my mind at the time, I graciously tried some of the kinky kind. At a cabin I did weed only once, giving it a try, and almost dove off the top bunk as I began to cry. Into a bucket of piss and junk I almost went, but knew if I did, I would be under the ground sent. The gals were cool and good looking to the T. I so wanted them to think that also of me. Opening up they graciously did, as I looked down to see nothing hid. I don't remember today their name, but then everything was definitely a very juicy game. A young woman I saw walking Commercial Street every day. Then gone, she had OD'd that night, never to stay. A free life of living in open arms we all went, harboring no recognition outside of our P-Town tent. I talked with a woman wanting a sketch one afternoon, and later I learned she was raped that night under the moon. The streets were always so crowded with numerous bodies, many of which were tightly dressed, beautiful hotties. Jets quarterback Joe Namath I saw down the street one day. 2 women hanging on, I thought, for a sexual evening lay. A Great Dane dog I saw standing quietly on the street. A small male chihuahua running over, then humping on one of her back feet. The funny part of this, as the Great Dane stood tall, she turned her head and watched it all. Painting study was my reason being there. A totally different place it was to air. Mornings were spent painting away, and then the other part was my portrait sketch, observation, play stay. Good memories are still to this day with me, and I will always be thinking of thee. All right. This piece isn't a rhyme, and I don't think I've read it here for quite a while. It's an observation I'd like to share with you. It's entitled, "Looking This Day." I walked and looked this day, imagery of wonder bathed in nature's sunlight. Color and movement is what I see, defining these structured pieces composing my world around. On this day stands out, like all others, letting said images filter in, staying to be remembered and loved for what they are. This day of beauty reads of red and pink blossoms set against foliage green, water reflections of a cool sky blue surface against the warm darkness of a shaded bottom. Into the water, some feet from shore's edge, I see slight motion. Is it a bit of current or something of life this day of days? Focus I do, and yet still I cannot determine what vision I am seeing. Harder I search for the defining factor, and see again I do. A fish's tail it is, as upstream it goes into its world unknown to me, and questioned by my very soul. A living form of life, so different, yet similarities exist. Eyes for vision, a mouth to feed, a body for movement, a life to grow. A deep breath I take, looking to further fathom my surroundings. Another living creature standing to my left through the trees I see in the wetness of marshlands. The white, statuesque figure of an egret, motionless, alone, and at peace, yet so full of life, a strong difference of existence, yet tied tightly to the beauty in this world I live. I love my world of life, and wish that others would recognize not only the beauty, but the differences of cultured humankind as a challenge to be accepted and loved for who they are, where they are. A coming together with an equal vision for a better life, a better world for tomorrow. Thank you.